I want to go over some reasons why you might be feeling more tired with CPAP. Now, when you're first deciding whether to use CPAP, you kind of get this idea that it's going to up-level your sleep. So it's very frustrating when you're actually more tired once you start using it. A lot of times this is coming from a new user, and so there's an acclimation issue where the adjustment to wearing the mask, to feeling the pressure, is causing sort of mini arousals or mini sleep disruptions during the night. And this will get better with time, and you can make it go as fast as possible by getting consistent usage. Sometimes the mask or the pressure, because you're not used to it, is going to cause a full awakening, and that awakening might turn into a prolonged awakening during the night. So you're kind of having this the situation steal your sleep away, and that's giving you short sleep and a reason to be more tired with CPAP use. Again, that's going to be solved with consistency and also the idea that you're not fighting against the CPAP machine. I think when you start using CPAP, there becomes this heightened awareness of your sleep and how you feel during the day. And for somebody who is reluctant to use CPAP or to accept the diagnosis of sleep apnea, this can create a burden of using CPAP, psychological burden, or just kind of a mental burden that you really don't want to be doing this. And that in and of itself can cause prolonged nighttime awakenings. You also have very likely not slept normally for some time, particularly if your sleep apnea is in the severe range. So you have this buildup of sleep debt that you're not that you're trying to resolve, and there may be some component of sleep inertia, meaning now that your brain understands it's safe to sleep because you can breathe, it wants to kind of make up for all the sleep that you've lost. So you're trying to catch up, and that can leave you feeling groggy, especially when you first wake up in the morning. So I advise people to wait an hour or two before they make a judgment on their sleep quality the night before. So don't do that when you're first waking up. Sometimes there's this anticipation of sleep loss, or if you are dealing with actual sleep loss, you may do some things to try to mitigate that. You may take in more caffeine than before. You may have more alcohol consumption at night in an attempt to relax or try to get yourself to sleep. And some people start introducing CBD into their nighttime routine. All of these measures kind of make sense for what you're going for, but they can backfire and they can cause you to have more disrupted sleep. So if you've seen an increase in doing these things, you might kind of pull that back and choose other behaviors or coping mechanisms. Sometimes there's an issue with changing your sleep position. So because you're now wearing the CPAP mask and having the tubing in bed, you might have some adjustment to a new sleeping position that you hadn't had before. There can also be adjustment to the sound of the CPAP machine, especially when it leaks, and the temperature is going to be different and can aggravate some people. Finally, some people who have trouble with CPAP find that they have an irregular sleeping pattern because they're kind of procrastinating with the CPAP. They have bed dread, they stay up later, they may fall asleep on the couch and then can't get back to sleep in the middle of the night when they transition to bed. If this is happening for you, you really need to double down, and I'm going to give you some action steps that you can take. First, I want to get clear about goals. I want you to get it in your mind that consistency with your CPAP is going to make the acclimation process faster. So you want to at least put the CPAP on every night. Don't skip a night when you're acclimating. And you also want to enforce consistency with your wake up time in the morning and your bedtime at night. And at night, you want to kind of land the plane with a slow, gentle descent where you're relaxing and supporting yourself. I like to think of activities during the daytime and nighttime as a pendulum. If your pendulum is swinging very small between activities you can do in the day and what you can do at night, then your wake quality is not as good as it could be, and your sleep quality is not as good as it could be. So I want you to get this idea that you're going to pull that pendulum back further with daytime activities like getting bright light exposure, especially in the morning, getting your heart rate up during the day. That's a great way to increase your sleep quality. You want to look at what you eat and drink. You want to pull back those beverages, especially in the few hours before bedtime. You don't want to be eating right up until bedtime or during the night. Regulate your meals. You want to get good social, meaningful connections during the day, manage your stress, and consider practicing with your CPAP machine even during the day. This could help you to acclimate at night more quickly, and it removes the pressure to sleep when you're practicing during the day. You're teaching your brain that this is what we do now. This is a safe treatment. At nighttime, in order to pull that pendulum back so that you have great wakefulness, you want to make sure you've got dim lights. You want to do some stretching, some relaxation, even take a hot bath or warm bath before bedtime. I mentioned pulling back the beverages, not eating up until bedtime, and you want to get some mindfulness in your life. You want to focus on the present moment. Don't let your brain go to worrying about the future or going into regret about the past. And consider creating a nest in your bed in order to do some meditation and start repairing the bed with relaxation and rest. I hope these tips have been helpful. If you're still struggling, you can reach out and schedule an appointment with me on my website, supersleepmd.com. Just click on the Work With Me button and you'll get to my schedule where you can talk to me directly about what your sleep challenges are, and I'd be happy to help you.